Have you ever been to a school play? Well, if you've ever been to a school play, you know that the acting usually fucking sucks. Whether it be Frog and Toad or Clifford the Big Dog, real examples from my experience. Yeah, they're fucking horrible. But what if I told you there was a school play that you will like? It isn't a fucking school play, it's a genuinely, like, professional play in theater. Well, this book fucking got one. Fan of the Auditorium. And I do not see any fucking reason, but okay. So, Fan of the Auditorium. It's about time I get to this book. It's quite popular. At the same time, it's not very popular. It has a small fan base, to say the least. It's really just not genuinely talked about a lot overall. And when it does, it's either hate or love it. So, we're gonna get my opinion on it today. And I'm kind of in the middle, I'll be honest. And I am a bit of a theater guy. I like theater, I like music a lot. So this is kind of like right up my alley. And I also like Fan of the Opera, so obviously if you're a fan of that, you'll probably love this book. So yeah, let's get into the review now. Starting off the blurb. Lights, curtain, Phantom. Brooke's best friend, Zeke, has been given the lead role in the school play, The Phantom. Zeke's totally into it. He loves dressing up in the grotesque Phantom costume and scaring the other cast members. Brooke thinks Zeke's getting a little too into it, but then really scary things start happening. A message appears in a piece of scenery. The Phantom strikes. A stage light comes crashing down. Is someone trying to ruin the play, or is there really a phantom living under the stage? Wow, man. That is crazy. So crazy. Yeah, so without giving spoilers, as always, before we get into the spoilers, I'm just going to give my general opinion on this book. This book is kind of mid. There's one giant issue, which we can probably all agree with, us norms who aren't fucking dick suckers for this book, and I'm in that ballpark. But I don't actually, like, hate it or, like, think it's pretty bad. But I'm more leaning to that side, let's say. So, yeah. Let's get into the spoilers now with the upsides. So what did I like about this book? Well, this book actually had some quite good stuff. I think the final 10 pages of the book are fantastic, man. Fantastic. I really like the Phantom of the Opera story. It's very beautiful, but also very dark. And yeah, it kind of reenacts that, but in its own kind of way. And it's really, really, really solid. I actually quite enjoyed the dialogue of the actual Phantom. No shit. And he actually gets more screen time than the average Goosebumps monster. Well, actually, page letters, I guess. I don't fucking know. Or stage time. But, he gets a lot more than you'd expect. Because, like, you get good examples of, like, You Can't Scare Me. Yeah, when we get to the actual monsters of that book, they get like a page. Or Where for Fever Swamp, I think they got like a page and a half or something, or a couple pages, maybe a chapter. This dude got like 10 entire pages, and that is great. That is 1/12 of the book with the Phantom being beautiful, man. I absolutely love those final few chapters, 10 or so pages. Very, very, very good. Sorry, I just rambled on about that for so long. Besides that, some of the chicanery that is pulled by our supposed Phantom is quite good, actually. I think it's some decent stuff. And one of my favorite scenes from the whole book, where they're, well, quote-unquote, caught in the act when they're not really doing it. They're trying to catch the other person in the act who's actually doing this. We'll get to him in a minute. That scene is actually quite good. It also raises another suspect with a little detail, but that suspect goes nowhere, sadly. But it's still a really nice scene. But yeah, like I said, the chicanery in the book from the Phantom is pretty good. There's some really great stuff he does, like writing on the storyboards, or swinging down from a very high place, like fucking Tarzan. Very dangerous, might I add. Yeah, really, really solid. And this book was actually quite creepy at times, also. There's a scene in here that kind of plays off the entire story, which is kind of bad. We'll get to that in a minute. But, it's kind of good, actually. The scene itself involves them going into the basement of the school, which is already creepy enough since there's no light. It's very creepy, damp, wet down there, I believe, and really dark. Like, you can't see shit. There's a homeless man living down there, and he is not happy about people in his home. He doesn't try and chase him or murder him or anything. He's just definitely, you know, a little upset. It's kind of creepy, because you don't know what he's capable of. Yeah, a really, really decent scene. very creepy as well. That's all I have for upsides. Let's move on to the downsides. So what did I hate about the book? Yeah, I have a hate with this book. I'm being serious. For once, I actually really hate something about this book. Or a book. Here we go. This studs off like 2 points. That's pretty big for Goosebumps. Not a lot happens. We get chicanery. You know, a lot more than we do in You Can't Scare Me. I will admit that. But still, man. Not a lot happens. No, I'm not going to flat out say the book is boring. Overall, it was, you know, decent, fun read. Fun is kind of an overstatement, but you get the point. It was entertaining. But at some times in the book, it felt like pages just went on way too long than they needed to. It's a very descriptive book, I felt like. At least from memory. I read this in 1 day, so it kind of flew by. If there's nothing happening for 100 of those pages, then if you could expect a big point reduction. Especially if all of it is for nothing, this stuff that does happens. Yeah. Another thing I don't like, this is more of a nitpick, it's the fact that the first, 100 pages of the book were basically fucking pointless. Yeah, that's kind of stupid, but like I said, of dummy free, there's a certain thing in that book similar to that. Well, this. When it comes to that, it's actually not horrible with the scene that comes to that realization. That one does involve in, some character growth and stuff. But this is not as great in my opinion, but I still think it's not horrible. Besides, there were good scenes leading up to that. If the scenes are good leading up to that, if there's some good fights and shit, I'm fine. I'm fine. It was still kind of annoying, but I'm fine, mostly. And yeah, those are my downsides. Let's move on to the rating. The book may have a lot of flaws, with nothing happening and then being shrugged off. Even if it was shrugged off in a more realistic and creepy, kind of dark manner, it's still kind of boring. Like I said earlier, it's not really boring, it's more entertaining than boring. It's just that stuff really led up to nothing. But when this book shines, it shines. It's got a great final 10 pages. I really like them. There's a nice twist running there, actually a couple. And even if you can see it coming from my way, it's good. There's also something involving Zeke that I forgot to mention in downsides. But honestly, it's not horrible. And we kind of needed it in the book. It's just oh, whatever. Let's just say he gets blamed for shit that he literally can't fucking do. And yeah, what would I rate the book now? I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. That's quite low for my usuals, but like I said, nothing really happens, but there were still good stuff, so I'm not gonna give this a 5 out of 10. It ain't mid, really, but it's just yeah, it's passable. I'd recommend this, though, if you're a huge theater fan or something. You might enjoy this a lot, since there's not really references, but there's a lot of stuff involving theater in the book and the production of it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this book review. I know there's a lot of fans for the book, so don't get mad at me if I just shit on your favorite book or some shit. Hunter Cullen. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.